All right, good afternoon. This is breaking news on landslide news. A new form of tax system has emerged in Nigerian state. Very interesting. Very interesting. I really wonder why I'm laughing, but I'm going to go straight to Kingsley Okafor and ask him, this tax system that we have right now, how do you see it?
Well, it's not really the tax system itself is not a breaking news. It's been with us, been signed for over 5 months. I think it's because of the revelation, just coming out that commercial sex workers are going to be paying taxes, and the revelation also coming out that irrespective of the legality of your actions, that you have to pay taxes. So many questions are going to come out from there. When you collect a tax from somebody who has carried out an act that you classified as illegal, then are you giving credence to that activity, or are you sharing for the benefit of that activity? Because taxes are essentially proportion that is kept aside to the central post, which is government, from income made. Those income, there are direct incomes, there are indirect ones. As a matter of fact, in accounting, they call those ones on earned income, like things from rent, from investment, things like that, where the ones from your labor and profit are direct, income. So it is a government share of your income from what you have made for them to put into the central post to maintain the state apparatus, roads, infrastructures and things like that. So your income is supposed to be a legitimate thing, because if you continue to collect tax, you're also you are incentivizing that activity in itself. And where do we draw the line? It's already shameful to classify the activities of commercial sex workers to be services. The revelation said is services. I'm trying to not pick name, to pick his name, because if this continue to fly with his name, it's going to be denting. That is services. Imagine somebody selling drugs too. I do understand that in certain countries, that might be where the arguments are. In certain countries, what we call drugs here and cannot be sold, can be sold legally in certain countries. So legality is issue of what we agree. That's the classification that's of the drugs. Yes, that's why we have National Assembly. Yeah. Now, are they by default or indirectly legalizing this action? Certainly, you can do an illegal act and also pay money to government. It comes in form of fine. You drive against the traffic, you do things like that, you pay fine. It's a punishment. As a matter of fact, one is a punishment that rises to crime. Jail term is attached. So, or to be both. So, for illegal action, do you, after collecting tax, now go and prosecute the person?
Okay, hold on. I'm going to stop you right there. Yeah. Now, I want to come to you first of all, so that you give us a good clarification of how this goes. Now, we already know that drugs are on the other side. It's an illegal, or you're going against the law. Do you understand? But sex workers, are they against the law in Nigeria?
You see, the last time I checked, I haven't seen anywhere in the law where it is stated that people can work sexually and earn from it. I haven't seen it. Maybe I may be corrected in this regard. Taking the words of Taiwo Yodele, it was very clear. He stated when he's trying to explain the kind of tax regime that will be facing from February next year. He said, this is his word. He said, irrespective of what you are doing, so long as you are earning income, whether legitimate or not, say the tax doesn't act. My question, does armed robber earn from their act? So is it that armed robber are going to be taxed too? Does kidnapper earn from their act? Because he said income you earn will be taxed. Say the tax doesn't ask whether legitimately or not. Underline, legitimately or not. Whether it's legitimate or illegitimate. So long as you earn income, you will be taxed. Whether you are kidnapping people to earn your living. Because he just mentioned the word sex workers. But it all encompasses, all embraces.
No, I agree with you basically on the all-encompassing of the tax system. But I wanted to first of all establish, because one of the things, especially because of our moral standard in Nigeria, you won't say that you encourage people to go into sex work. Now, these sex workers in Nigeria, first of all, I want to know, are they legitimate?
That's the question. You see, that's why I said in my opening that I have never seen in any way that the law of this land, Nigeria, called Nigeria, recognize sex worker as a legitimate, profession. Because in this Abuja, 3 years ago or thereabout, we're all faced with where, sex workers were being hunted down, that they are doing illegal business within the Abuja metropolis. I don't know if you remember the last FCT minister.
Even this year in Benin.
So the whole of Gambia Street was raided. So now, but you are coming to say, like he said, that they are going to pay tax. Are you now saying that so the street of Gambia and the entire Abuja to be open for sex workers, so that because you have to know where people are working before you can tax them? If you are clamping down on them because their work is illegitimate, so how are you now? So that's why he used the word legitimate or not. So it therefore missed my understanding, my little understanding that by this act, the act of armed robbery, kidnapping, the sex worker or prostitution is now being legalized from behind, from the back door.
Okay, all right. One of the issues with this tax law when it was being promulgated was because we didn't know what the nitty-gritty is.
Exactly, that's where I was coming. I was trying to not peg Taiwo's name to it, even though he was the one that spoke.
Yes.
Because is this what the tax law passed by the entire National Assembly says? Our National Assembly, because we have brothers from Christian families and Muslim families and all across.
Traditional African.
Let me tell you, we can't say they are not moral society. Why are we putting on clothes here? Why are we putting on clothes?
There's morality.
There's morality. You can't have a human being. We're a social animal. There's morality. So at the end of the day, are you going to say every person that gives money to a woman, how do you classify what is prostitution or not for the purpose of tax? Because it doesn't have to be when they are gathered in Gambia Street. Or else they gather again.
I
didn't see that coming. Because it seems to know where they gather.
You don't have to be.
Well, a lot of them don't gather physically. Now they gather online.
Whenever they gather, there was a gather.
No, come on, you're not. You hit it below the
All right, so let's get it clearly. A lot of prostitutes, which let me tell you personally, let me put it personally, as growing up till today, I've always frowned relationship that is transactional. As a matter of fact, I do tell them that you do not need to stand on the street to be a prostitute. If you make it as a precondition for money to be given for a relationship of such to happen, you are a prostitute. But if you are already friends, for example, you have a relationship for the purpose of knowing each other, which you could as well do for your brother, your sister, and the other person has a problem, and you happen to be able to rise to the position where you can help the person solve the problem, that person can as well solve that problem for you if you were to be in the shoe. That should be relationship. So it's tax authority going to come in to ensure that anybody say, come and see me, if I'm going to see you, I'm going to pay 100,000 to your account. Are they going to clamp down on those? And I do tell you that in Nigeria, apart from a few of us who have this strong voice against transactional relationship, in short, Nigerian money go full, you go, the federation account will be overflowing. But at the end of the day, you are going to ask ourselves, are we aiding those actions morally? Because at the end of the day, what is the job of the tax collector? Is to drive revenue. Do you shut down where you are driving and increasing revenue?
No.
If I give you a benchmark or a target to drive and increase our revenue, are you going to stop your source, your revenue driver?
No.
Are you going to take any action to diminish your revenue driver?
Definitely
no.
not.
So at the end of the day, it's a promotion of legality can be decided, but morality, I don't think you can decide that. So I would think senators most Congress members are not even aware of what they signed for. I can tell you.
But let me stay with you, because I'm actually really very because I've been shouting this for a long time.
Yeah.
I said, why would we see this tax formula or law or something, the tax net, who are going to be in? We have not heard the last of this tax stuff, and who is going to be able to. Maybe we've not even heard, because like what Philip is saying now, the drug lords can come and they will pay tax and they'll be legitimate.
Yes, right.
Yeah, do you understand? How do Nigerians stand up to this now that the tax laws have been signed?
Let me tell you, I was thinking that the president should focus on ensuring we have a saner society. At the end of the days, or at the end of the day, whichever one, why are we looking for money? Is to increase our standard of living. Is to ensure there is no crime. That if I park my bicycle, I can come back and pick my bicycle and ride. Is to ensure that if I'm dressed, walking down the street without any security guard following me, I can walk freely. If you remember a story told in Kenya, Ghana, when Jerry Lawrence was walking as a young public officer, and he was being followed by guards. He asked them, why can't I move straight in the street of Accra without anybody following me? They said because it's not safe. He called the IG of police then, and he said, no, the criminals, this and that, they cannot. They asked them, do we know these criminals? He says, we know them. I want all of them gathered in the next 24 hours. It's a story told by somebody. I want all of them gathered in the next 24 hours. The IG called all the commissioners. What the criminals in your zone? Do you know them? Yes, I want all of them gathered. That our president wants to see them. I don't know how true that was. So somebody was
I've heard the story.
Yes. Then they all gathered. They said the president wants to talk to them. I'm not saying we should do that, but that's a style. Then they went to the beach side. Is it Labadi Bridge or something? I don't know how true that story was. And the president shot them. That's jungle justice, no doubt. But the next day, they say he could jog alone without anybody coming. The essence of most of these monies we need is to have a better life. Why don't they come? And morality, not having armed robbery. We just lost, let's not preempt you. You know we're going to talk about it. We just lost a young, vibrant correspondent with Arise. A great anchor. Simply because the place is not safe. Now, if you start taxing armed robber, you think if you give me mandate or target to increase my revenue, I will stop people from robbery. How will I generate revenue?
Okay, let me come to you. I remember, and I keep on echoing it. The former FRS boss, Omoigui, she said, to collect the tax is not the problem, but to turn the tax into development is the major problem. We've seen this tax being collected all the time. FRS churning in this tax year in, year out. Our roads are worse than they are, or they have always been. The light situation is worse. I mean, things are worse. After this tax have been collected, they told us that if we remove the subsidy, right, we will have a lot of money, and it will enable us to fix a lot of these social issues that we have. It's been removed, nothing. This tax will be collected, the roads will not be tarred. What is wrong with everything?
Everything is wrong with everything, because when you look at, the truth remains that if you look at the Bible, tax collectors are not good people.
Yes.
They are seen as sinners and evildoers. And when you have a tax collector as your leader, this is the thing you find. Because is the question I ask myself, is the government concerned about governance or about making money for himself? Just like you rightly pointed out, what is this money being collected for? We're told that when you bring money that is you do not earn properly to church as offering or tithe, the Lord will not accept it. So when you tax the sex worker or the armed robber or the drug lord or the kidnapper, how do you think you can use this money to develop the country and you see development? Because in the first place, the money was not earned legitimately. And you have made it expertly clear that you are going to collect money whether legitimately or illegitimately. What does that tell you? It's a certain that the only thing this government can think of, or always thinking of, is to collect us. I read somewhere that the government had fulfilled his a mandate to the people by passing the tax reform tax law and signing it to law. That is the only mandate, because I think it was yesterday or today that by this tax law passed into law and sent it to, that Tinubu has fulfilled his mandate to Nigerians. Can you imagine that? Is it that Nigerian people, all they were taking off his hat, are they going to be taxed? So that they were looking for a government that can tax them, and then Tinubu presented to them that, look, when you elect me into offices, I'll be able to put all the tax regime to tax you. Is that why they elected him? So that's where your question comes very handy. What happened to the money collected as a result of the tax regime? What have they been doing with the money? Because by August this year, the government told us that, look, they have surpassed their revenue projection, and a few days later, after that statement was made, they said, oh, they are asking to borrow more money. And when they were taken to question, they said every businessman borrow money to do business to make more money, that the money they made, they've already kept it, so they are borrowing to do business to make more money. These are the language they kept telling us. So the money you collect from tax and the revenue you collect for internally generated revenue, what do you do with it? What is the reason of collecting the tax or generating the revenue in the first place? What was your intention? Is it not for you to develop the society and fix the social issue we have and the infrastructure that are decaying?
Okay. I've not really seen, I've been in FCT for a very long time, but I've not really seen a lot of the tenement rates, that different kind of tenement rates that are coming in.
Television license,
radio,
environmental, everything.
I've never really seen it, but I've also not seen, since everybody left this town, how this town, the way it is stinking right now like never before.
Yeah,
this town stinks right now.
Refuse everywhere,
Refuse everywhere. The one of the major social ills we have right now is traffic issue. Not the traffic, too much traffic. No, everybody driving against the traffic now. And this is the headquarters of Nigerian Road Safety Corps. This is the headquarters of Nigerian Civil Defense Corps. I mean, everybody, we have lawlessness all over the place. I mean, take the one
but it's not going to be a problem. They will be taxed. That's why income the tax. See, legitimate or illegitimate. Let me tell you, the last time we had the EFCC chairman, Olukayode, said that Yahoo Boys has given us bad name, even when the issues of visa ban and all that was coming. That is Yahoo Boys that was giving us bad name. But now Yahoo Boys will be paying taxes. So the tax drivers, how could you be fighting your tax drivers? You're not going to fight them. And at the end of the day, the outside world are going to see us as those who are sending these people, to generate money from illegal activity, and while getting income from them. I do not see it's desperate. It's putting money ahead of morality in itself, especially that of sex workers and other illegal acts. Okay, you can put fine. Let me tell you, even fine itself is not for a grave offense. That is why a judge might say no. If this fine, they say option of fine or this. If this is not too bad, it's okay. Let's go for option of fine. They let you be. If the rise is so bad, fine doesn't solve it. Fine doesn't solve it. So, and this is not even a fine; it's a tax. A tax is a share of your income by the government. That's all. Your income. What do you call income? You have to be involved in a legitimate business to earn income. All other things you have done illegitimately is illegal. You don't have to do those things. Those are the things not allowed in this society. So I don't know why, except they are coming out to legalize it. Let me tell you, people, they are not going to help sex workers in particular.
Yes.
In particular, rather, to legalize this. The way sex workers have been advocating that there's nothing wrong in using any part of their body to make money, like a footballer uses his leg, like a basketballer uses his hand, they are going to help those people at the end of the day.
Because that's the part of their body.
It's part of their body. They have just chosen their part. So now they are going to be able to advance those things forward, because you are saying that they can make money from there. But we know that from morality, we are able to say, oh, this part of body should be private, why this should not. But removing the morality, your body, part of your body is your body. You decide how to use it.
So where is our norms and values?
So where is our value as social animal?
We as Africans, we know, irrespective of where you come from in Africa, we frown at that behavior, prostitution. Let's not mind ways. But here we are, a government in Africa is saying that they are going to tax that same thing that his own culture, his own people frown against. So where do we go from?
And let me tell you, we were having issues of dividing VAT between the areas that love alcohol or that allow alcohol and those that do not allow alcohol.
Yeah.
As this thing is coming into light now, certain states and certain areas are going to say no, we don't permit prostitution. How are we going to get into this quagmire? Why is the federal government, do we so need money? I think we should steal less money. I think the government should be more transparent. The government should spend more for value. Like you're talking about FCTs thinking and all that. Government should focus on those things, how to live life, rather than elephant project where they will get big return from the foreign contractors, while leaving local contractors more than 3-4 years without payment. Those are the things they should focus on.
The truth remains that this government has lost focus, because a government that prioritizes money as the priority above security and life of the citizen is no longer a government. Well, how can we be in Abuja that everywhere is thinking when you're leaving this place that before you get to you will see heap of death.
In fact, on major roads,
like you said, this morning I was coming at, I was shocked by that construction that is going on there. People were driving against the traffic.
Yes.
And I was on the extreme side, and the man was face to face to me. A road that's supposed to be one way.
No, that's one of the biggest lawlessness right now that we have.
Government is not talking about it. They are talking about how they can tax sex workers.
Even on airport road, where diplomats, the first posture of when you are coming into our nation, the capital city of our nation, coming into, the first thing you see, people driving against traffic.
This is unbelievable.
Very absurd.
That is not the problem of the government. The problem of the government is to tax.
It's not just unbelievable.
It's to actually create a legitimate, income base. For government to do that, they need to create infrastructure that support production. That is what they need to do.
But maybe they
start from there. You cannot tax nothing. Money for prostitution is coming from where?
Maybe
people are not even having enough money to pay prostitutes. because they have to produce.
Exactly. Maybe they are creating it on the other side. So that's why we have.
There's nothing like prostitution infrastructure.
That's why we have armed robbers rising to make sure they create more money to pay more tax. So they visited people like Somto.
I think
unfortunately he died yesterday.
Armed robbers, kidnappers,
so that
they can make
drug lords.
Exactly.
Do you understand? We have seen it repeatedly where kidnappers, right, bandits hold naira in large sum, right? And they have TikTok, as in they have TikTok on, as in they're on TikTok. And as at that yesterday, the early hours of yesterday, Somto Chukwu living somewhere in a highbrow area, the house was invaded. She couldn't stand it. She jumped, and her life. A promising young girl, 29 years
and
old.
Imagine those that were involved in that activity now. Will not come and pay tax. That's blood money. That's not what we want.
So that's why
blood money. That's not what Nigerians want. What we want is we are generating money from our crude oil. We have a few companies, the ones that are still managing to work in this adverse condition. Even while the government is claiming, the foreign investors are coming, I really doubt, because local investors are suffering. It is the local investors that will let foreign investors know that we can operate here. When there is lawlessness, there is no foreign investor that love lawful activity that would want to come. And we are making it worse, saying no matter how the income comes. So armed robbers, kidnappers, commercial sex workers, what are you teaching our youth? I want to look Kayode to respond to this, because he has been so focused on the youth and how the activities of the Yahoo guys is even extending into making their girlfriends lazy, because Yahoo boys will give them quick money. You see a young boy that ordinarily will be working for 100, 150, 200, 250,000 per month. You spending 1,500,000 naira to buy a hair for a girl who whose parents can't even afford a good meal. That this is kind of creating a network. He was passionate analyzing how this thing need to be nipped in the bud, and I agreed with him on what he was saying, because these children are the ones that are going to become governors tomorrow. And they'll end up legalizing everything because they want money from our sources.
We have had their own governors.
You see, these children don't need to wait to get to government before they legalize it. This has been legalized, because if you agree to tax them, what are you saying? So all the things, look at it, had been laboring to
control.
They are now being legalized by the same government that appointed it to fight against this.
I would love him to respond, because he's so passionate.
It's so obvious that the government has legalized Yahoo, kidnapping, whatever it is, because the words are clear there. So either legitimate or not, the tax doesn't ask question.
And it's not a fine for committing offense,
so provided
which is a repudiation.
It's an income you earn, you pay tax.
And they will not be a first-time offender. Because when you pay a fine, the offense is counted for you.
Yes.
So it's expected that you shouldn't go back to do it again. But this one, they encourage you to continue your good work and part you.
I really wonder the role of Ayodele. I know there's a presidential committee on tax reforms.
He is a member of the presidential committee.
I think he's the chairman also. He's the one that is heading that committee. Yes. Where is the role of FRS in this whole tax? Because
the FRS be bungled into.
So that's what I'm saying. But even the bungling, we have not seen a head of each of this
government.
Is it because sorry, sir? Now we go the same route and expecting different results all the time. We said NNPCL. That's NNPCL.
And there was no L there.
And there was no L. There was no L. There is no L. Everything is still government. All the head of all this are chosen by NNPC.
Look at it. I don't know the strategy Asiwaju is using. They said it's going to start early next year. February. Mind you, that is 2026. The year that precedes 2027.
Yes.
And you're in the background hearing that people like Goodluck are coming, hearing things like that. It's as if you're not scared. Because at the end of the day, people can't really measure what you have achieved. If you can't hold on to the traditional way of measuring basic success, ensure that the unemployment is reduced, except maybe this is a way of reducing unemployment. Ensure that the critical infrastructures that supports development, that supports production is increased, and investment in those directions are well calculated and measured, such that when you are coming for re-election, you have index and you have footprints to campaign and debate for a second term.
Okafor, what are the critical infrastructure? One of them that I will see is road.
Yes.
Tell me the roads that we have seen an improvement on, right, since this administration. With all humility and sincerity, I'm asking, which road has become better since this administration came on? Now, when the road becomes better, a lot of things, you said it the other time, there was a time the hedges of the roads were cleared so that to afford visibility.
Yeah.
So if kidnappers are like a kilometer away, you will see them. Now it's rainy season, the whole grasses are covering everywhere. We've not even seen those edges of the road, those road shoulders, I don't know what you call them in engineering, shoulders, what that cleared so that we can see that. We've not even seen that. Those are critical infrastructure that we need to see. Why don't we just get the benefit of seeing that? Why don't you think the government should do that?
Like that's what I said. You see, let me be clear with you. In as much as we do not have the most powerful road network in Nigeria,
yes,
if the government can maintain the existing road networks in Nigeria, movement is possible. And when you do that, you don't even need to go more on roads again. You go on rail. Maintain the existing road connection that we have, then go on rail. You are going to do a cargo rail, and passenger rail. In some places they will share tracks, in some places they won't. You understand?
Speed rail.
Have a national planning. Let me tell you, back in the days, they used to pretend. They used to have Vision 2020, Vision 20 whatever. Let it be that they thought it wasn't going to come. What those kind of things tell you? National plan and national milestone. You don't have to start this project and finish it. The rail system we have between here to Kaduna was done by Goodluck Jonathan up to 95-98%. Buhari came, wrap up commission. Those are national projects. Have a national milestone. Get them started. But one of the problems this government is facing is their inability to know how to separate the problems to long-term solution and short-term solutions. Short-term, maintain all our existing roads, all road network as is. Then power generation to ensure that small industry, people fixing things can work. Machinery, begin to think of how to import machinery that can fabricate certain things. Ensure that our technical schools are actually technical schools, not technical schools who write only literature.
I don't see the equipment.
And do more of yes, they write how a machine should look like and fill in the part. They don't really use it. I can use my math here to tell you how to manufacture aircraft. It's different thing that I can manufacture aircraft. So that is the area expected them to do. More in that line. Production. Things that will make people to go to work. Not things that make you to go and steal and bring money for you.
All right. Let me come to you, because yesterday Okafor reprimanded me, so I don't want to go to him with this. Some lawyers had been called to bar, were going back to somewhere in Edo State, and they were kidnapped. Okafor said, why should I say every life matters? I agree with him totally. But yesterday, a young lady had finished law, called to the Nigerian bar, right? And chose her passion, which is, let me say, journalism. Joined Arise, one of the leading media house in this country. Now went home yesterday and armed robbers came to raid. 29 years old, young, promising anchor died just that yesterday because security failed, call failed, everything failed. Police came and the police said they can't take her to the hospital where she was still alive because they said they didn't have fuel. What a nation.
What a nation indeed. Born, 29 years of age, died on the 29th of September. May her gentle soul rest in peace.
Amen.
Talking about all life matters. Yes, all life matters. But you will agree with me, some life matter than some others. Because why do we say so? Why are we mourning, Sumi? Because she has shown that she has something to offer to the society. Why is this life of this young girl who came for her court to bar going back to her primary place to start practicing, be kidnapped, matters to the society? It's because she has shown that she's ready to contribute to the society. But these actions of the criminals is depriving her to contribute her quota to the society. This is the second or third day of her being kidnapped. We pray that what happened to Sumi shouldn't happen to her. Because the next thing we hear that they found a dead body or something. Because this is a country that is lawless. We're talking about a country where the government thinks of nothing but how to tax her citizenry instead of, carry out their primary assignment. What is the primary assignment of, of government? Like Okafor said it in the morning. The primary role of government is to intervene. It's intervention. To provide the basic amenities, basic infrastructure for people to function, for business to thrive, to provide security for lives and property, so that the few property we have, we can expand on them, not they be destroyed. But here we are, we have a government who do not think of nothing but how to tax the people. They don't care who they are taxing, what the person is doing, provided they can, tax the person and get money from there. It's okay with them. So the question is, why should this government allow her young, promising citizen life being cut short like that of Sumi? If the government is really concerned with the citizenry and governance, Katape in Abuja, anybody who knows Abuja very well know that it's a highbrow area. It has one way in, one way out, which signifies that there is security. That is, the place is so secured as it were. It is this caterpillar that armed robber was able to gain access, carry out their activities for hours. The police were called. The information reaching us that contact were made to the police. The police delayed till when they are satisfied they came. After the armed robber may have left the scene. And when they got there, they saw the victim, our dear Sumi, still alive. All that she needed was help. And that help is to help take her to the hospital where medical doctor can carry out help that may have keep her alive. What do we hear? That the police said there were no fuel in their vehicle to take her to the hospital. And there is government that says that they have met their target internally generated revenue as at in August. But here we are, the police who are saddled with the responsibility of providing security had no fear in their car
to take her to the hospital,
protect a life,
being the first responders.
Exactly.
Okay, for let me. You see, some of the. You see, because as he's talking, he's so passionate. There's some stuff coming out of there. She wrote on her ex on the 14th of August and said, "Please, Nigeria should never happen to her or to anyone that she loved." But Nigeria finally happened to her.
He did, and unfortunately, a lot of things just coming out at once. He did because she was frightened. In some form, she reacted, and I've had a lot of people say, "Oh, she shouldn't have tried to escape." You can't blame the victim. You can't blame the victim on how she chooses and how it's available. If upon getting the knowledge there is an armed robber and will have 1 minute response squad, that girl will be alive. How we rate police performance in all other countries is by their response time.
It's not by carry siren.
It's not by carry siren. We all travel out. A lot of us spend some time outside. You can be in a place you're not going to find one single police car. But immediately there is check it up. In 1 second, you see everyone is gathered. So if we are in a place where the government is thinking that we should fund the police for them to be able to respond to crime, in terms of 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes maximum, I don't think Suntum will be there today. Let me tell you, somebody said it and it was like a joke. He said he called the police one day. He said, "I come back, but the watchman, you come back."
That's how bad it is.
Yes. And that's the number they gave out.
Yes.
That when you are in trouble,
you call this number.
Emergency number.
So with the watchman, you are back. And I said, "No, this can't be true."
No, but you also have an experience.
I have an experience where what's it called? One chance. Pick one of our staff at about 10 p.m. and I called the police. They was like, "Is it kidnapper or one chance?" I said, they told me I was using the word kidnap. That she has been kidnapped. She said they have been kidnapped because she's too under tension. She said she has been kidnapped. That's the word she was using. The person said, "No, this is not kidnap. This is one chance." That all these bad boys, all this that they will eventually drop her. Of course, like the police officer said, after like around 12:30 a.m., 1 a.m., they eventually dropped after beating her, collecting money from her, calling her mom sending money. In short, they were all calling me. When we were trying to rush out, I forgot my own phone at home. So she was calling me as her boss or whatever. So my phone was ringing. Nobody was picking. So they were beating her.
Well, they define
and the police. What did the police do?
they define kidnappers and what
kidnappers and watchers.
I told you that.
So the moment they don't drop the person after 3 hours, it's supposed to kidnap. So if they drop the person,
it's watchers.
So 3 hours is now.
So that is when they can arrest.
That's what yes, sir. They said the one said I was able to do the can track. One say no, that I have to come to headquarters
for an emergency.
That is only for headquarters I can go and talk about the tracking. I have to go there, blah blah blah. We need to do better. And let me also tell you, getting into the shoes of police, they don't have the resources.
But
they don't have the fuel.
But
they don't have the vehicle. Let's be honest.
That's why I asked the question.
The police are even doing wonders with what they have.
So that's why I asked the question. Where is the money the government is collecting?
I'm even telling you.
Why all this?
The government said they have made their target. Local contractors, you are owing them for 3 years. Are you not killing your own economy?
You refuse to pay them.
Legitimate taxpayers, You are owing them for 3 years. You are looking for illegal taxpayers. You think there's money from somewhere for drug dealers. There's money in Nigeria. From where? What are they doing? What is their occupation? What is their job? Odogu from where? Based on what?
Parara.
This is not going to stand. That's not the kind of a nation we want to give to our kids.
If you ask me, this tax regime should be sent back to the National Assembly and they should review it.
Philip, it has been signed into law.
It doesn't matter.
Well, it can be amended.
It can be amended.
You see,
those are the issues we have. You see, we have fundamental issues that sometimes we don't look at. Now, in sending for the president that we had, this president said when this task was proposed, he said there's no going back. And I told you guys, I said this man means what he's saying, and now it has been passed. Of course, there were a lot of but he meant what he said. And from things that we can't say online, or we know what went down. And the National Assembly, they caved in. Whether they're from the north, the south, the west, the east, Christians, Muslims, they caved in. They always will cave in. Wherever they are coming from, they will cave in. Okay, now they've caved in. It has been signed into law. At a point, it looked as if it was north against south. Do you understand? The north people, they cave in. Now the tax is here. How can you sign tax into law without just the ballet? Don't worry, the tax is not as bad. It's a 97% population excluded. Just 3% of Nigerians that are rich will be taxed. Now they are telling us that's
commercial workers will be taxed.
Ordinary commercial workers that hide to
those who are
apply their business. They hide to apply their business.
With the legislator we have now, do you think that tax will go back?
At the end of the day, let me tell you, no law is final. It is the law.
Oh, sure.
Hold on. This is law that the people allowed. We don't want what happened in Kenya to happen here.
Yes.
It was a financial policy that caused that wreck.
Yes.
It is the law that the people eventually allow to go through that will go through. That I can tell you. I mean, these issues of taxing people who are into illegal activities, I don't think is sustainable. It means you are encouraging such practices. There's no way you can, if it is a fine, and you say, oh, you have committed an offense, we are fining you instead of a jail term so that we can save money. Instead of sending you to jail, because if you send somebody to jail, you'll be feeding the person. There's an adage in my place that says, who keep person for jail? That person is 2 days for jail. So they can use option of fine to decongest our prison. That is understandable, but it is still an offense and it's counted against the person's name. That this thing, we don't encourage it. It's not who we are. So it's a warning. Yes, like me, I said something, even why I do not believe it's an offense, but I believe there is a cost of maintenance. I believe our culture, when we are dancing in ceremony, we spray money. I do not believe personally that somebody should go to jail to serve simply because he spray money and practice our culture. Because spraying money can lead to defacing of money, which can lead to printing money quicker or earlier than it would have been done. There is a cost. I think such person should pay some percentage for cost of doing that. If you spray 10 naira, you can pay cost. That is a cost of production, cost of maintenance,
which you say is for mutilation.
Yes, for mutilation. That is understandable. If you switch that to cost, things like that, so make more money from a big man who wants to spray money and do party rather than throw people into jail for practicing the culture that predates us. Because let me tell you, I can show you some videos where white men are now learning to spray money in their party.
We they lead them. That's what we are doing.
So we shouldn't throw our culture into hell. Now you didn't steal. You are not a thief. You shouldn't go to jail for spraying money. Rather, you should pay proportion of that cost for maintaining the money to the government.
We now major on what you call the minor. EFCC goes after people spraying money. Federal Road Safety Corps goes after just for you to answer your phone call,
and they're all over the junction and inside the cities.
Exactly,
a federal highway.
I mean, they have forgotten. They've left people that drives against the traffic or that beat traffic. All they are concerned about now is if you are making call, which you ought not to make call, or you don't have seat belt. The seat belt doesn't protect the one outside; it protect the one inside. It's you first. But the one that you are driving against the traffic, it's against somebody else. Now majoring on the minor. That's why, like you said, there's no law that is permanent. One of the only way to which laws can change is when people come out and also vote out government that are not good to them. Now, I think there's some a disequality somehow in the society. Hearing the name of Goodluck Jonathan coming under PDP has made everybody unsettled. I said something today. I said, if I was this regime, they are so quick to respond when something shakes them. Onanuga just came out and began to talk so many things about Goodluck Jonathan. I mean, is it that is a phobia to them?
You see this government, or rather APC government, as we have witnessed in this country, they are known for one thing: the blame game. They are always quick to blame their incompetence and failure on another person. They must look for the next person to blame. The mere fact that speculation are ripe, and it is becoming beyond speculation and becoming reality that Jonathan is being wooed to come back to the saddle, and their moves and Jonathan's activities in recent time shows that he's beginning to show interest. The government, you can say it again, that they are jittery. They are jittery. And when somebody is jittery, made a lot of mistake. And they came out to say that I'm quoting Onanuga, said, the failure and the problem Jonathan created in his time is what Tinubu is trying to fix, and has even fixed, and Nigeria has, gained a lot of tremendous improvement, and Nigeria is by the corner, and they are just turning to the main road to go ahead. You forget to realize that there was 8 years gap between the Jonathan regime and the Tinubu regime. But he's saying that it's only the Jonathan, failure that made the country.
It's not 8 years; it's 10 years plus.
Where he had done 2 years.
So the 2 years that we felt better.
So he said that what they've been trying to do all along is to fix it.
Have they fixed it?
Yeah. So he said, how could he said they fix it, and they are by the corner of the road trying to turn into the main road and then zoom off. So they are still trying to enter the.
See, this kind of rhetoric is not what Nigerians want. But let me tell you. Yes, they were referring to foreign reserves, and you see, let me be clear. If I think my opponent has failed and he's trying to come back and contest against me, I would rather welcome him. I say, come on board. Let me contest against you so that I can win for a second term. But the truth remains that during Jonathan, a lot of money were being used to subsidize our fuel. Okay? Fuel was selling around 85 naira. Okay? Now, fuel is selling 900 and something naira. We use that to multiply our consumption, put it in foreign reserve. So they shouldn't talk about the foreign reserve, because we are buying fuel at what rate?
At the real rate.
Dollar for importation, because we don't really produce. Dollar is how much? So when you look at those, and as at that time, Jonathan left the largest economy in Africa. So there's no, I think if Jonathan happens to come on board, Asiwaju shouldn't campaign by putting his so-called achievement beside that of Jonathan.
Side by side with that.
They are not going to stand at all, sincerely. During Jonathan's time, granted, there was insecurity that started in Borno. It was all to Borno. But now in Nigeria,
spread all over.
Benue people can't sleep. Bandits making press conferences.
Kidnapping Edo.
Yes, kidnapping. Look at now a young girl being killed.
Inside Abuja.
Inside Abuja.
In a highbrow area.
They are not going to succeed on that. This rhetorics of trying to drive from the shoulder to the main road and zoom off, nobody's going to listen to that. I think they should go back to drawing board. If Jonathan is going to come, it's going to be a serious fight. Okay, that of Obi is good because they have one thing or about two things to criticize Obi. One, that Obi is outside, he's criticizing from outside. He's not on the driver's seat. And when you're on the driver's seat, it's a different ballgame. And two, that Obi may want to serve second tenure. That don't take him for his words, even though a lot of people believe that they can actually take Obi for his words. So this government have to look at something that will appeal to people beyond standing beside Jonathan. Jonathan dwarfs all of them, both Buhari and co. They are nowhere close at all. Their achievement, and Nigerians are not confused about it at all. They are not looking for any information minister to confuse them, or looking for any communication strategies to confuse them.
Everything is bare before them.
It's clear to Nigerians that there's nothing. It's very, very, very clear. Rice was 9,000 naira all through Jonathan's tenure.
That was the highest price.
What's the name of this agriculture minister? Adewumi Adesina.
Yes.
Was on this driver's seat doing the best we could even get since that time. Nigerians are not confused about it at all. Not at all. So they shouldn't go close to that. Trying to tout foreign whatever that you, how did you get that? You don't just pick an isolated figure. Something gave rise to that. How much are we buying fuel? Have you paid your local contractors? Local contractor, did you see them protesting during Jonathan's time for being owed for a year, 2, 3 years, 4 years? We don't have that.
Well, we can't talk more than this. We don't have the time to speak more the incidents that you can't really, you're not supposed to speak loudly of or proudly of things that we now bring to bear. But you know, there's an analogy I gave one time. Cain and Abel brought something to the Lord, and Cain offered his own and Abel offered his own, and God accepted that of Abel. And Cain was angry and walked out. I was very angry. God met him. He said, why are you angry? He said, if you have done well, I would have praised you too. And he said, sin lieth at the door. That means there's still an offering that you can use to appease lying at the door. That's why he said the sin offering, you know, lieth at the door. But he refused to take the sin offering. Instead of taking the sin offering to go and offer something better to the Lord, he went and killed the brother. You know, I hope this will not be the same thing. The government of the day still have time in their hands. A lot of things. You used to be the proponent of that.
Yeah, I believe a lot can happen between now and 2027. They should concentrate on those than telling us they're in the shoulder trying to drive into the main road. When your local contractors are there, you didn't pay them. Police is saying it in the open that they didn't have fuel to respond to emergencies. So get those working.
All right. It's been breaking news and some matters arising on landslide news. I've told you, we always give you the best insight with our great guys here. Thank you for joining us. Tomorrow will be another day. Bye.